Happy Sewmas. It is that time of year because I have a lot of fabric, as you can probably assume. As much as it pains me to say it, I'm gonna start over. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Sewmas, where I'm doing 12 days of holiday DIYs and sewing projects. To kick off this Sewmas, I'm making a holiday party shirt. I try to do something holiday party-esque every year, and I this year made something simple but that I think is still really cute. I did have a little hiccup, but I will get to that in the video. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, follow me on my social medias, and let's get into it. Happy Sewmas. It is that time of year where I do 12 sewing projects and holiday DIYs. To kick off Sewmas, I'm going to do a holiday top. So I put up a sketch of what I'm thinking. I just want a plain top, and to give it more interest, I was going to do a tie, but I want the tie to be able to go to the back if I wanted to. So that's what I'm thinking. I will say, I feel like the fabric that I intend to use is holiday-y, but it's a little bit of an excuse to just make something that will go in my closet, which I feel like a lot of, I mean, that's like everything I make, but like, I've been trying to think of projects to like, be like, oh, I will like actually go and pick this shirt up a lot, or this piece up a lot, because I feel like sometimes I make things and I don't get as much use out of them, or like I get some use, and so then when I'm getting dressed like in my day to day, sometimes I'm like, oh, I just don't know how I feel. So I'm kind of trying to focus some on that. I also must say, I am trying to be mindful about like buying stuff, like buying fabric, because I have a lot of fabric, as you can probably assume, and I don't want to like buy things that I don't need. So I have a few fabric options, but I'm leaning towards a red velvet that I used. I don't know if I used it last year or not, but I did. I used it one Sewmas for my holiday top and for the dress for the cats. And I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to do this project, but I also don't know if I have enough of my other fabric options. So I'm kind of just like, we're gonna see what happens. So I also wanted to have a little bit of a sleeve, but I don't have enough fabric, I think, across any of my fabric options to do a full sleeve. So I'm gonna try to do, I've seen it called different things, either a batwing or a dolman, or I think a grown-in sleeve. Those are different names roughly for the same thing, where you like extend the shoulder out and make a sleeve shape but kind of curve it into the body. It's kind of what I actually ended up doing on my summer dress because I originally just did a tee and I was like, oh, this looks weird, and so I just like curved it in. So I guess I technically have done it before without knowing what it is. But I'm gonna try to do that so it can still give it a little bit of a sleeve. And I'm gonna modify, there's a pattern that I made. I copied a dress that I like wear around my apartment sometimes into a top. So I'll link that video. But I'm gonna alter that pattern to add the sleeve, and then after I do that, I will draft the pattern for the tie, and then I can get sewing. Okay, I am going to do something unfun, but first, I want to show you how much fabric I have left. That's all. So, I did a good job at guesstimating and placing it, but yeah, there's like no room to make any changes. I also do want to do a binding on the neckline, and so I mean, obviously, I have enough, but because with velvet, you're supposed to, I think, cut everything on like the same grain line because it can look different. I will say this is a really cheap velvet from Walmart from a few years ago that I actually saw that I was like, oh, that'd be perfect for Sewmas. So I like it, but like it's not that great. And like when I use my rotary cutter, just so much fluff was just coming off. But anyways, the thing that I'm gonna do that is not fun is I'm gonna baste most of the top together. So I'm not gonna sew both pieces for like the ties, but I'm just gonna sew like one side and then I'll baste that into the top because I just want to see that I like how things look before I start constructing it, because if I don't, I would kind of have to like fully construct the ties with like sewing them and serging them and then sew that into the side seams and then hope that I actually like how it looks. So I'm going to do a lot of basting, which is hand basting. A little unfun, but I feel like it's sometimes best practice, at least in this case, because like hand basting like mars the fabric less than the machine and it's easier. I just do a very simple stitch. Like there's a lot of different hand stitching you can do. I do a very basic stitch that is really easy to seam rip. So yeah, so I'm gonna do that, and then if I like it, I'm gonna start sewing it. Okay, I always make the basting out to be worse than it is sometimes, but I basted the top and I like how it looks. So I'm gonna seam rip that, and I'm gonna start by sewing the ties together. So sewing each piece and then sewing them right sides together so that it can be on either the front or the back, and then I'm going to connect them into the shirt and sew the shirt. Okay, I forgot how not fun velvet is to work with, and especially a cheap one. So the edges roll a lot. This is a partially pinned version that I gave up on. What I did was I serged the edges, which made it easier to pin, but it's slippery, so like it doesn't line up as much here, but somehow there's a lot extra here. It also, I will say, the back is a little bunchy, but I feel like it's just gonna be hard to actually get it to not be, and I've already like, this is like my third time pinning it, so I think I'm just gonna sew and see when I flip it inside out if it looks fine, and then do that for the other one, and then put them into the shirt. Okay, I know I already said that working with velvet sucks, but it sucks a lot, and this cheap Walmart velvet is not making it any easier. For one of the ties, it just like rolls, curves. I don't even know. I don't love it, but like it just was such a hassle to pin and even like be able to sew, but like I don't know how. I guess just both sides stretched, or like one stretched more than the other. I don't know. I'm gonna sew this to the shirt and see how I feel. So now for the shirt, I'm gonna sew the shoulder seams, and I'm gonna sandwich the like long side of the triangle into the side seams, and then after that, see how I feel and go from there. I was also thinking about doing a binding for the neck hole and the armhole. I just don't know. I feel like it's gonna be so hard to like, I don't know. I could do a facing. I just feel like trying to do a binding would be very not fun. So we will see. I don't know about that yet, but I will figure that part out later. As much as it pains me to say it, I'm gonna start over. The fabric is just very not working with me, and I feel like hemming the shirt is kind of not really in the cards right now. So I have some other fabric that I'm gonna use, and I'm just going to recut everything out. I might adjust the armhole to make it a little bit bigger, but yeah, that's unfortunate. But I just was really struggling and was like, I don't know how I'm going to hem this. I tried doing something and then it got like the hem on the bottom got twisted some, and I was like, I'm just overworking with this fabric, and for some reason I have a ton of velvet, but still, but yeah, so I'm gonna recut out the fabric and resew everything, but I'm not gonna baste things this time because I already know how it's gonna look. Okay, the fabric I ended up using was a lot better of a choice than the red velvet. So for the neckline, I'm going to do a binding where I sew to the wrong side, but then I flip it over twice and sew on the right side. And I'm also going to do that for the armhole. I'm probably just going to serge the bottom of the shirt and then flip it up once to do the bottom, because since the fabric is a little, it's like velvet, velvor maybe, like I think having the serging, like the serger threads being what's touching instead of like the fabric itself by doing a rolled hem might be a little better. So I'll see about that. But I'm gonna get ready and measure and cut out the bindings and get ready and sew that. Thanks for watching. I really hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on my social medias. If you made it this far, comment down below what you're looking forward to this Sewmas, and stay tuned for what I have for the rest of Sewmas. Until next time, bye guys.